What a time to be alive, ladies and gentlemen, on a wonderful Tuesday here on the Money Manziel MMA channel. Today, we are going to be talking about and building the UFC 324 main card. Now, listen, we know that, and listen, Dana White, say it with me. This is a
This is so
badass
badass.
fight card that we have in December for this next fight card, the last pay per view of the modern era. Before we move to Paramount, it's the last ESPN Plus pay per view. And then afterwards, we have Royval versus Kopp in the Apex. It's the main event, is the final fight night and fight card of the ESPN era in general. And these are two fun cards, man. There's a lot of fun fights on both of them. We'll obviously talk about them when the time comes, but the big thing we're taking away from building this card is that it is on Paramount Plus. Listen, this is the first card of the Paramount era. I don't know if that means they're physically not holding a card until the 24th of January, or if maybe the first one or two. I don't know what they're doing there, but we'll have to see what happens. I assume that might be the first card is UFC 324, so who knows. Either way, we need to build a main card, and the bosses need to impress. So they have tasked none other than me, Money Manziel MMA, to take the Dana White with big hands role. I'm going to be matchmaking. I am going to be putting together a 5-fight main card. Now listen, my job has been made easier already because we know of two fights. We know about Mateusz Gamrot versus Arnold Allen, and we know about Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas. Now, Nikita Krylov and Modestas Bukauskas, to me, is irrelevant for the sake of this video. I believe that's going to be a prelim. I would be shocked if on the first pay-per-view of the new deal they put Krylov versus Bukauskas on there. Listen, to create a pay-per-view that is on a new rights deal where it's cheaper, where everyone's going to be tuned in, holy shit, new era of the sport, you need names that the casual fans know. Frankly, I don't think a casual fan who just watches pay-per-views gives a shit about Nikita Krylov or Modestas Bukauskas. They do care about Gamrot and Arnold Allen, though. This is that type of fight that you open the pay per view with, where you're like, guys, we'll give you a fun little scrap. We'll tease you a little bit. We'll stir the pot. We'll give you Mateusz Gamrot and Arnold Allen at 155. And just to be clear, that is where the weight class is at. Arnold Allen said that he's put on too much muscle. He cannot make 145 anymore. So he is moving up to lightweight. Seems like a quick turnaround for Gamrot, but I guess if he didn't take any damage and he wants to still make this title run, he kind of needs to get back and start getting wins again. So, very fun matchup there. So that leaves us on the UFC 324 main card with the opener figured out. We have Mateusz Gamrot versus Arnold Allen, and I can talk about this fight for a second. Mateusz Gamrot, very impressive grappler. He can kind of hang with people on the feet. He's not going to be better than anybody on the feet, but he's crafty. He throws a lot of looping hooks, decent jab, but not super powerful. Nothing that's gonna, like shock you and make you scream from his power. You're like, holy shit, look how powerful this dude is. Arnold Allen, on the other hand, very, very technical striker, kind of from the same breed as a Leon Edwards or a Lerone Murphy, but he is much more volume based. He's willing to go for it a little bit more. Now, he is coming off of multiple injuries. I think a bunch of different stuff. I think a shoulder was in there, a knee was in there. A lot of injuries have sidelined him for what will be over a year and a half at this point. And no one knows how he's going to look at 155. He's still pretty young. He's still in the prime of his career. But it is a massive matchup at lightweight. You're talking about Gamrot's ranked number 7 at lightweight. Arnold Allen is number 6 at featherweight. Massive matchup to open up the main card. Now, as the matchmaker, I believe we need casual fighters on this card. And I want to say why, right? You need one of the two names to be a big name. And the reason you need to do this is because casual fans are going to see some of the names on this card and they're going to be like, holy shit, what a badass fight card. And then you can throw another guy on there in their opponent who's going to make it fun, right? Because if you have a badass name, but then it's like a boring decision, you're kind of like, okay, well, fucking cool, we watch, but it's all decisions. You want to set these fights up for finishes. That's what the UFC has failed to do in a lot of their other fights, and now they're starting to do it a little bit more. We need fights that are guaranteed finishes, or at least have a high upside of finishing potential. That's why you book a RoboCop Roman Kopylov, because yes, it went to a decision, but it was fun while it lasted, and there were a lot of cool moments. And yeah, that's how you need to book fights. That's why you got Rodolfo Vieira and Bo Nickel. you knew, hey, Bo Nickel could finish this guy, but Vieira also is finishing upside on the ground. So we need finishing potential. And that is why in the next fight on this main card, we are going to be making Sean O'Malley and Sonya Don. Now, listen, my job's a little easier. I saw a video on Twitter today that stated that Sonya Don has a contract, and he kind of alluded to it being Sean O'Malley. There were rumors of this taking place in December. That's not going to happen, obviously, at this point. So I think we push it to January on the Paramount deal. And why wouldn't you? Sean O'Malley is a massive name. Now, he is off of back to back losses, so I think it is hard to sell him to me as a co main event or even as a feature fight. I think a guy off back to back losses, for his name as big as him, I can't speak English. Um, you need him on the pay per view. But where on the pay per view is what matters. I think we do him at number 4, right after Gamrot versus Arnold Allen. This is a fun fucking matchup, dude. Listen, you got Sean O'Malley. He's been aura farming for a long time. Listen, you're seeing the outfit here. I'll be honest with you, man, and I gotta just say this one time. This might be the worst press conference outfit I have ever seen in my life. I have no clue what the fuck he's wearing on his face. He is wearing tinsel on his body. This is literally what you throw at like a comedian on stage if you're upset at them. This is what the Lorax was farming back in the day. At Christmas, like you get this type of shit on your fucking bow tie and your ribbon. You know what I mean? He's wearing straight Christmas tinsel. Merry Christmas to you, Sean O'Malley. I have no fucking clue what this guy is wearing. He's got cotton candy hair here. However, he did put on a masterclass of a performance, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt here. But with all of this, man, and with all the fucking Marab skits, this shit's always funny to me. I can't lie to you, man. Marab's funny as fuck. But either way, Marab's kissing Sean O'Malley in the skits. He's making the Instagram reels. He's engagement farming like me. People have forgotten. People forget, man. People have forgotten. Sean O'Malley's a beast, dude. What he did to Aljamain Sterling in Aljo's prime in the middle of that title reign, where he had 2 defenses back to back. You look at what he did to Piotr Jan. A fight that I think can go Sean O'Malley's way. A lot of people called it a robbery. I think that was people watching it live. They were a little biased. They wanted Jan to win. And Sean O'Malley has a legit argument for winning that fight. No question about it. I'm also noticing this guy has float like a butterfly, sting like a bee tattooed on him, which is interesting. But I mean, when you have fucking a chess piece, is that a chess piece tattooed on his neck? Some interesting tattoos on Sean here. Either way, masterclass. I mean, in terms of doing as well as you can on the feet versus Piotr Jan, generational. And he was like number 11 when he took this fight. So one of the few times that a big jump up has really worked and kind of laid the blueprint for how they've been working with stars in previous years. Sean O'Malley is a beast, and I will always maintain that on the feet he can hang with anybody at 135, and honestly at 145 I think so too. On the Sonya Don side, the last time we saw Sonya Don, and he is a finisher for the people who they haven't watched many Sonya Don fights, he is a finisher. Now the Henry Cejudo fight was weird. That was clear Jason Herzog, IRS, fucking, we gotta audit this guy. I poked Cejudo bad. They made Cejudo fight into the 3rd round just so we could lose a decision. Unfortunate stuff. But Cejudo was doing okay in that fight. Sonya Don was definitely having his moments. He's very good at defending the takedowns. He's showed improved takedown defense every time he's been in the octagon. He KO'd Marlon Moraes, but again, that's not that special. It's fucking Marlon Moraes. KO'd Ricky Simone. He does have a loss to Piotr Jan, which was it was a close fight. He fought him very well, and I think that's going to be a thing coming into the Sean O'Malley matchup. You're like, okay, we're going to get some fucking striking exchanges here, and let's see if someone goes down. Very, very fun matchup with Sonya Don. So that leaves us with a current main card of Mateusz Gamrot versus Arnold Allen and Sean O'Malley versus Sonya Don. That's already 2 badass fights. You know what I mean? Dana, say it with me again. 2 badass fights on the card already. And now we need a feature fight on this pay-per-view. Because, listen, we have 2 title fights on this card, in my opinion. And we'll talk about one of them in a second. But the feature fight of this card, get ready for this. Brace yourselves. I'm bringing Storm to this fight. I'm going to be more professional than the professional. I bring chemistry credit and autism to this fight. Let's go for that. Yuri Prochazka, hold on, I just fucking burped. Yuri Prochazka versus Azamat Murzakanov. What a fight this would be. And listen, you're probably looking at this matchup and you're like, okay, Yuri's not fighting for the belt. Why the fuck would he fight Azamat Murzakanov? Let's take a look at the rankings. Right now, these are the viable guys at light heavyweight. Yuri, Ankalaev, Ulberg, Roundtree, Blachowicz, Hill, and Murzakanov. Jamal Hill does not deserve a number one contender fight, no chance. Ankalaev is going to be out a while if he really did have broken ribs, and I think he's out. He's out anytime before Ramadan, so I think we got to wait until after Ramadan to see Ankalaev again. Ulberg, we'll talk about in a little bit, but he is viable. Khalil Roundtree Jr., horrible damage. He needs some time off. Let him rest. Let him fucking travel with his girl. You know what I mean? Jan Blachowicz is booked versus Bogdan Guskov, who were two guys that could have fought for it. Again, Jamal Hill doesn't deserve it. So we're kind of just left with Azamat Murzakanov for Yuri Prochazka to fight. And if that's the case, I'm never going to fucking complain about Azamat Murzakanov and Yuri Prochazka. Are you kidding? And for those of you who are not in the know, Yuri Prochazka is the most autistic man that has ever touched the octagon. This guy would set records if he was actually tested for autism and being on the spectrum. I don't know what the fuck he is doing here. Can we play a clip of him walking around on that treadmill, please? I mean, who else is doing it like Yuri Prochazka? You know what I mean? Legendary stuff. Just a beautiful soul, really. And again, I cannot emphasize this enough. What the fuck is going on this picture on the left? We love Yuri for him inside and outside of the cave. Cave? He probably is from a cave, but from the cage. But he is equally as good inside the cage. You look at what he's done to some of these opponents. Flatlined Volkan Ozdemir. Flatlined Dominic Reyes. Submitting Glover Teixeira with under a minute left in a title fight he was down in. KOing Khalil Roundtree. KOing Jamal Hill. This guy is unbelievable. He's got to have near a 100% finish rate. I don't know how many decisions this dude has been to. Can't be many. It cannot be many for Yuri Prochazka if he's ever gone to a decision. So, and it's got to be pre-UFC. I don't believe he's ever seen a decision in the UFC, actually, now that I think about it. So, yeah, man. Shout out Yuri Prochazka. This dude's a fucking beast. I pray that they make this fight because it is right there. I'm sure Yuri wants to stay active. Azamat Murzakanov didn't take any damage in his fight against Alexander Rakic, where he KO'd him with a jab. Look at the record on this guy. In the UFC, he has 6 KOs and 1 decision. I'm not saying what that adds up to. He is a finishing machine. He has serious power in his hands. He is a little chubby, but he is the professional. And let me tell you, he is a professional assassin. This dude KOs people, and when Azamat Murzakanov hits them, they don't fucking move. You know what I mean? Azamat Murzakanov is a beast. He continues to be a beast. You're getting a guy that has 13 finishes and 16 wins. I believe he's 16-0. 13 KOs in 12 KOs and 16 wins. Yuri Prochazka has to be damn near 100% finish rate. It is a match made in heaven on this side. And I really believe that Murzakanov and Yuri is one of those fights where you have no fucking clue what's going to happen. You don't know if Yuri's chin is going to hold up. Is he going to get cracked early, get rocked, get knocked out? Or is Azamat Murzakanov going to go for broke in the first round, gas, and then you've got Yuri in the second and third round, just like the Khalil fight, where he's pushing a pace on you, he's making it dangerous, he's making it gritty, and you get an all-time classic. So this is a hell of a fight, and it leaves us with 2 title fights remaining here, right? Right now the card is Mateusz Gamrot and Arnold Allen, which is number 6 and number 7. Fuck. You have Sean O'Malley and Sal Yadon. These are 2 top 5 bantamweights. In a really, really legendary matchup that should be a war on the feet. You then have Yuri Prochazka and Azamat Murzakanov, another fucking banger on the feet. If it's not a knockout, it's an all-time classic, and I would pay top dollar to see this in person. Yuri Prochazka and Azamat Murzakanov. Are you fucking kidding me? So that leaves us with 2 title fights, right? We have the main event and the co-main event. I am going to talk about this co-main event extensively, so just prepare yourselves ahead of time. I believe the co-main event of the first UFC on Paramount fight card should be Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes. Now listen, Ariel Helwani has come out, I believe yesterday, and stated that the UFC is looking to make this the main event of the UFC 324 fight card. Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes. Now listen, this is as close to a finish in a title fight, and an exciting one at that, and it's very marketable. Listen, For women's MMA, this is a hell of a fight. I put this right near the Cyborg versus Nunes level fight, a Rousey versus Nunes type of fight. You know what I mean? This is one of the all-time greats. But if I know that Shevchenko and Wei Li was fucking boring as shit, it's how Shevchenko fights nowadays. But if that fight doesn't get a main event, and that's number one versus number two pound for pound, if that doesn't get a main event, there's no fucking way we're introducing UFC fans and casual fans to the UFC through this fight as a main event. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to allow that to happen. I pray that it just means they're working on it as a fight on the card. Listen, it's just not a fight you want to introduce people to. You know what I mean? It's going to be, I think it's going to end in like 2 or 3 rounds. Nunes has serious power. I think on the feet, Harrison doesn't have a lot for Nunes. While Harrison is getting better, Nunes can crack on the feet. She's dangerous. I know it's been a little time off, but on the ground, Harrison is also dangerous. There's two kind of styles meshing here, and it'll be a hell of a fight, I'll tell you that. But the last time that we saw Kayla Harrison, look at this girl on the scales. You cannot make this girl the main event if you don't know if she's going to fucking die after the weight cut. I have to say it how it is. We don't know if Kayla Harrison can legitimately make this weight cut healthy another 2 or 3 times. And I don't know that. Look how sunken in she is here. She looks like she is stared at death in the face. Like, death has come up to her and said, hey, like, fucking, what's going on? Like, how's your day been? You eat breakfast type of thing? Like, how's the weather outside? She's had conversations with death. And that's not to take away from the fact that we've got fucking, listen, you know what I mean? And I'll be honest, like, she doesn't look bad here. But, like, never forget Arman Saruki in that clip of the press conference where he's throwing sticks at this girl. Apparently in Armenia, that's like a thing. You're like, oh my God, we're throwing sticks at the girl. Leave that to Armenians. But either way, it doesn't take away from the fact that Kayla Harrison is a beast inside the octagon. I will forever be indebted to Kayla Harrison because of what she did to Juliana Pena. Getting rid of Juliana Pena from the sport is a greater achievement for world peace than anything any president in the history of our country has ever done. Eliminating Juliana Pena from the UFC, God bless your soul. I wish only beautiful things in Kayla Harrison's life. Kayla Harrison has done more for the UFC and for this country than any president, any leader, anything in the history of our world. Since 1776, Kayla Harrison is the best thing to happen to America because of beating Juliana Pena. Now, that being said, the last time we saw Amanda Nunes, she laid her belts down after beating Irene Aldana by decision at UFC 289. It was a pretty good performance. I think she got knocked down in a moment in that fight, but solid performance. That was supposed to be the trilogy of her and Juliana Pena, and thank fuck that we didn't get that. But either way, I get it, man. Nunes is a big name. Everyone knows Amanda Nunes. Goat of women's MMA. I think Shevchenko's right up there with her. But the reason that I'd be excited for this fight, and this is what the UFC needs to do. You have Amanda Nunes versus Kayla Harrison co-main event. After the fight takes place, bring Shevchenko in there. Tell them, this is your next title fight. Amanda Nunes and Valentina Shevchenko. We will do this on a big fight card. That's a main event. I know Shevchenko is boring. That is a women's MMA fight that I would love to see as a main event. That is the 2 greatest women's fighters of all time that are active. And it's a trilogy where the first 2 fights are razor thin. That's what you do after the fight if Amanda Nunes wins. If Kayla Harrison wins, I don't know, maybe you do Shevchenko versus her. That's a pretty fun matchup too. But either way, go back and watch Cyborg versus Nunes. Nunes is very exciting. She's unlike a lot of the girls that fight nowadays, where she was really going to finish people. She was KOing a lot of people. Serious power in her hands. She can kick hard. Solid BJJ. And yeah, man, when she KO'd Chris Cyborg, holy shit, bro. She was like a 2-1 underdog as a champion. So a hell of a fight for a co-main event. This is still a badass fight card if you have Harrison and Nunes. Are you serious? I will say she did throw that fight versus Juliana Pena, so we got to keep emotions tempered a little bit. But listen, it is what it is. Amanda Nunes and Kayla Harrison, what a fucking fight that's going to be. That leaves us with only one fight remaining on the UFC 324 main card. We have currently Gamrot and Arnold Allen, Sean O'Malley and Sonya Dawn, Yuri Prochazka and Azamat Murzakanov, and Amanda Nunes versus Kayla Harrison. This right here is a hell of a main card. You could absolutely make this a pay-per-view anywhere. It would sell out. People would be saying it's such a badass fight card. You'd root for it anywhere. But we are making an impression for CBS and for Paramount owners and corporate execs. We need a banger of a fight card for them. And the UFC has had a history now of kind of making another fight in the same division on the main card, especially between number one contenders, so that way you can sell it after the fight. It'll be a big talking point during the week. Maybe you like kind of interaction farm where it's like, you run into the number one contender, it's like an elevator scuffle, fucking, it's like, oh, respect to you, bro. I'll see you soon. We'll fight soon. You know what I mean? You kind of want to interaction farm and clip farm if you're the UFC. I believe you need a casuals main event, but a banger of a main event at that. The UFC 324 on Paramount main event should be Alex Pereira versus Carlos Ulberg. I know that if we're really trying to stay to the whole like casuals guide to a card and you need people who just recognize the big names, you would want Alex Pereira and Yuri. But if they do any research before the fight, they would know that Alex has now KO'd Yuri twice in their two fights. In the second one, more humiliating than the first, which was a little early stoppage, kind of a questionable situation. I thought Yuri was out, but kind of a Mark Goddard-esque stoppage. Either way, you can't sell that third fight right now. You need Yuri to win another. You need him to look better than he did versus Khalil also, because he was down 2-0 in the Khalil fight. And Khalil was a guy who Yuri KO'd, so you need Yuri to show, okay, there's levels versus Azamat Murzakanov, right? And in the meantime, let's keep Alex Pereira active. If he wants to fight fucking John Jones or Tom Aspinall at the White House, we can do that. But keep him active. I don't want to see him wait until June for him to fight. We do Alex Pereira versus Carlos Ulberg here. I think this fight makes the most sense. I don't think you can sell Nunes and Harrison as the Paramount Plus main event. This is, though, you got fucking Shama versus Carlos Ulberg. People now know Carlos Ulberg because he KO'd Dominic Reyes. There's a little bit of name value there. But people know Alex Pereira. And when you know Alex Pereira, you know one of the greatest hate watches in this channel's history was him KOing Magomed Ankalaev. Ankalaev, I know it's Ali Abdelaziz fucking tweeting on his Twitter, I get it, but it made him very unlikable. And this is what Ali's been doing for a while now, is he's making his fighters unlikable to fans. If they just didn't talk, they kind of have an Alex Pereira thing to them, where you just don't know anything about them. It's like, oh shit, this is a scary Russian guy. We were all doing the fucking Shama dance when Alex Pereira won. I'll tell you what. Let's play that dance real quick. Show a real visual representation. Yeah, we were all doing that. I mean, just beautiful stuff. And you know what I mean? Like, this is such a fun fight. You want to keep the momentum going. Don't wait until June. You know what I mean? To keep this momentum going with Alex Pereira. Let's keep him active, man. He's like fucking 38. Let's keep the guy active. A big storyline that I want to talk about briefly here before we wrap this video up is the Blachowicz fight between the Alex Pereira and Jan. I know a lot of people were like, okay, well, maybe fucking if Blachowicz beats Guskov, there's something there, but Alex Pereira won, and the big conversation is going to be Ulberg beat Blachowicz too, and he won by unanimous decision, and Alex won by split decision. That's definitely a storyline. If the UFC is smart, they don't mention that people were very up in arms about Ulberg getting the decision versus Blachowicz, and the same for Pereira. But I think you just use it as like, okay, they both beat him, but Ulberg arguably beat him better. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where tricky situation, and we'll just have to see what happens, man, because this is a fun fucking fight, man. Like, you got Pereira, he might be posted up with Elsa, he might be posted up with like Quillen Salkilled, you know what I mean? He's gonna like aura farm with Australians before the fight card. He's gonna like find guys, or maybe Ulberg's from New Zealand. I have no clue, but either way, kind of the same difference to me. They all have funny accents, but either way, Alex Pereira, Carlos Ulberg. You look at the Ulberg side. This is an AI generated photo. Did not happen. Never happened. Dominic Reyes, the title run is still happening. It's not. It's not happening. He got KO'd in September. It's just, it hurts my soul. But either way, Carlos Ulberg coming off a KO win. We know of Dominic Reyes. And it'll be fun, man. This is a fun matchup. Ulberg's a finisher. Kind of likes to point fight from time to time, so a little scary if it's a main event, but Alex will bring the fight to him. And a big selling point, honestly, is this Blachowicz fight, and it continues to be, and we talked about it already. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but additionally, the reason Alex Pereira would be willing to take this fight, right? Because if he really wants to sit out to June, I'm sure he could do it, right? There's nothing wrong with him doing it. I just wish we could see him fight sooner. Regardless of that, a big selling point for Pereira to take this fight on relatively short notice would be, hey man, Kennedy Nzechukwu KO'd Ulberg flat out cold. He's also 35 years old. He's not young. He's not a spring chicken looking to take your spot. He's an older guy. He is in his prime, but the chin is questionable, man. There's been moments. So Alex Pereira could see that and be like, all right, you know what? I'll take this fucking fight. If Kennedy and Nzechukwu, failed light heavyweight and now failed heavyweight prospect, can knock him out, then there's life for me to be able to put him out cold. So I think that is the main event of UFC 324. That leaves us with a hell of a fight card in the process. You get Carlos Ulberg versus Alex Pereira for the light heavyweight title. Amanda Nunes versus Kayla Harrison for the bantamweight title. You do Yuri versus Azamat Murzakanov for a title eliminator. You do Sean O'Malley and Sonny Dawn for the love of the game, just a banger of a fight. And you do Mateusz Gamrot versus Arnold Allen. Kick things off with a little scrap on the main card. Get people excited. You know what I mean? And ladies and gentlemen, speaking of, that will do it for the video today. Listen, I hope you all enjoyed. This is a lot of fun to put together. I put this together this morning. Just kind of thinking about what to do for the card. And I don't know what I'll come up with tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be like a 323 preview, if it'll be like a, call-in fighters overweight, like fighters that need to be cut from the UFC, which sounds like an interesting video to make. But either way, I hope you all enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe down below. Listen, we're on the road to 1,000 now at this point. We did 500 once. It'll be nice if we can do it twice. You know what I mean? So let's keep it pushing, boys. We're going to keep getting these videos out there, and the grind never stops. So we're pushing. We're going to keep on pushing, and we're going to continue to push. So TikTok is at Money Manziel MMA. If you don't like the TikTok and you want YouTube Shorts, I've got them here on the channel. I post a YouTube Short to accompany every single video. So hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all have a wonderful Tuesday here. Go outside. Go be one with nature. And I'll see you all next time. Peace out, boys.